On a quiet morning at a private hangar, a young black teen, barely noticed in his janitor's uniform, wipes grease from the wheels of a luxury jet set to carry one of the world's most powerful women. But when he spots her long-trusted aide tamper with the engine, he's thrust into an impossible choice. Speak up and risk everything, or stay silent and watch tragedy unfold. What he does next won't just alter the course of the flight. It will upend his entire life. Before we follow this powerful journey, tell us, where are you watching from? And what would you have done in his shoes? The sky hasn't cracked open yet, but the runway glows faintly under industrial lights. Frost clings to the edges of the jet wheels like forgotten breath. The world is still sleeping, except for Jace Moreno. At 16, Jace moves like a shadow across the hangar floor, pushing a heavy mop bucket, dodging eye contact, and clocking in without a word. Most people don't even notice he's there. To them, he's just another maintenance kid, just another smudge in the background of their polished lives. But Jace sees everything. The way the engines shudder when cold. The way pilots joke before takeoff, but go silent just before the wheels lift. He's watched from the sidelines for years, studying with a hunger nobody sees. While the elites sip their espressos in waiting lounges and executives bark into phones, Jace crouches beneath a billion-dollar aircraft, his fingers brushing the steel like it's sacred. His dream isn't loud. It hums beneath the surface like a turbine warming up. He doesn't want fame. He just wants a life where people don't look past him, where someone, anyone, sees that he's more than a janitor with a badge that doesn't even carry his full name. This is the morning everything changes. But for now, he's just Jace. Quiet, unseen, and watching. Charlotte Vexler's name drifts through the hangar like an approaching storm. Respected, envied, untouchable. She's not just a billionaire. She's a symbol. Aviation tycoon. Philanthropist. Magazine covers call her the Queen of the Skies. Her jet is already here. Sleek, silver, humming like it knows it belongs to someone important. Ground crew polish every inch with quiet urgency. Everything must be perfect. Perfection is the price of proximity to power. Jace doesn't get close. He watches from a respectful distance, hidden behind the safety cones and shadow corners. But he studies the plane like a lover studies a letter, memorizing every bolt, every curve, every part most people never notice. While others rush through routine, Jace kneels near the landing gear and tightens a loose bolt that wasn't on anyone's checklist. He wipes away a thin smear of leaking hydraulic fluid before it stains the floor. He sees what others miss and fixes what they ignore, not because he has to, but because he understands it. The hangar grows quieter after dark. The buzz fades. Most of the crew is clocked out. Jace stays behind, pretending to tidy the tool bins near the rear wall. That's when he sees it. Mr. Delroy, lead technician, respected by all, crouched beneath Charlotte Vexler's jet. His silhouette shifts under the belly of the aircraft, hands moving quickly over the auxiliary fuel control. Not checking, not repairing, adjusting something. Jace narrows his eyes. The panel's not on today's work order. Then Delroy looks up. Their eyes lock. A long second stretches between them. Too long. Jace's heart stutters. Delroy doesn't smile, doesn't wave, just stares. And then, just like that, he snaps the panel shut and walks away as if nothing happened. Jace doesn't move. His fingers tremble just slightly over the wrench in his pocket. Something's wrong. Deep down, he knows it. But saying anything? Risking everything? Not yet. Jace can't sleep. The hum of the hangar echoes in his mind. But louder still is the image of Mr. Delroy crouched under that jet. The way his hands moved. The look in his eyes. That moment keeps replaying like a broken reel in Jace's head. By morning, he's back in the hangar early. Earlier than usual. He skips the usual chatter and finds a dusty maintenance manual tucked behind the old safety binders. He opens to the section on auxiliary fuel control systems, cross-referencing, rereading. His fingers trail over diagrams, technical specs, and fail-safe procedures. Then he sees it. Tamper with that particular valve, if done wrong or out of sync, could cause an imbalance in fuel flow during ascent. If both engines don't compensate at the right time, the plane could stall midair. The margin for error? Razor thin. The risk? Catastrophic. His heart drops. Not just a loose bolt. Not a routine adjustment. This could crash a plane. Jace pushes Emmanuel away and rubs his eyes hard, as if trying to erase what he knows. Maybe it was an innocent fix. Maybe he misread it. Maybe Delroy's an old hand who knows things the manual doesn't. But the doubt has already taken root. It festers. And now, he can't pretend not to know. 5. Trying to speak 14 to 1800 hours. Later that day, during a quiet lull in prep, Jace finds Marcus, the crew lead, by the maintenance cart. He hesitates, voice low, heart pounding like a trapped animal. I saw something weird last night under Miss Vexler's jet. Mr. Delroy was adjusting something he wasn't supposed to. Marcus doesn't even turn around. He chuckles, almost kindly. Almost. You just got here, Moreno. Don't start talking like you've seen it all. You say something wrong about a guy like Delroy, it's your neck, not his. Jace presses gently. I think it could be serious. The fuel panel. Marcus cuts him off with a sigh. Look, kid, that man's been on this runway since before you were born. He's earned trust. You're still on probation. Be smart. The message is clear. Know your place. As Jace turns to walk away, a mechanic named Jayla catches his sleeve. Her voice is quiet but sharp. Careful what you say. People around here don't like being questioned, especially not by someone who's still cleaning floors. I've seen folks get disappeared for less. Jace nods slowly. His stomach twists. Everyone is telling him the same thing. Stay quiet. Stay safe. Stay invisible. That night, Jace finds himself on the stairwell outside his apartment building. Phone pressed tight to his ear. Isla, his older sister, picks up. Her voice is tired but warm, firm but concerned. He tells her everything. Isla listens in silence, then exhales slowly. Okay, first thing, you did the right thing telling someone. But second, be careful, Jace. You're a 16-year-old kid of color, accusing a white senior tech at a private hangar. This isn't just about safety. It's about power. Jace knows she's right, but that doesn't help the weight in his chest. So what do? He asks. There's a pause. Isla's voice softens. You're not wrong to care. Just don't get crushed by it. Document everything. Don't go in blind. And whatever you do, make sure someone hears you. But when the call ends, Jace is still alone. He stares up at the sky. Planes blink across the stars, their paths clean and certain. But his path? It's anything but clear. If he says nothing, someone might die. If he speaks, he might be the one who disappears. His hands grip the railing. The cold bites his skin. The world wants him to choose silence. But something in his heart is already moving. Not toward safety. Toward truth. He doesn't say a word. Just works. Quiet. Capable. Invisible. The private runway buzzes with a different energy now. Security teams run silent checks. Assistants bark into phones. The scent of jet fuel hangs heavy in the air, mixing with the rising heat of morning. Jay stands off to the side, half hidden behind a luggage cart, watching. Then she arrives. Charlotte Vexler, tall, impeccably dressed, her every movement practiced. Billionaire, philanthropist, owner of the Vexler fleet. She moves with grace and gravity, flanked by suited bodyguards and a sharp-eyed executive assistant who double-checks every clipboard and phone alert. Behind her trail 2 guests. Dr. Ayano Odiambo, a Kenyan physician known for frontline medical work, and Ramesh Mehta, an Indian engineer who builds clean water systems in slums. Global heroes in their own right. They're all headed to Geneva for a summit Jace had only seen online. A place where billionaires make decisions and activists share global solutions. But all Jay sees now is the jet. The same jet Delroy touched. The same panel. The same risk. For hours in the air. With lives that matter. His stomach coils. The engines roar to life. Time is running out. Jace doesn't move for a long time. He just watches. Mr. Delroy stands near the service station. Coffee in hand, chatting casually with another mechanic. Laughing. Smiling. As if nothing ever happened. But something is off. He's too relaxed. Too clean. like someone who knows nothing will go wrong, or knows exactly what will. Jace inches closer, staying invisible in plain sight, tools in hand, eyes sharp. Then he sees it. A clipboard half-tucked under Delroy's locker, its edges worn. Something about it calls to him. Too clean, too intentional. When Delroy steps away, Jace moves fast. He grabs a clipboard and flips through the pages. There it is, the maintenance log. Signed off as routine visual check. No issues detected. Dated hours before Delroy touched the auxiliary panel. False. Completely false. He flips again. Signatures repeated. Inspection codes reused. A pattern. This wasn't a one-time slip. It's a habit. Maybe even a cover-up. Proof. Jace has it now. But his hands tremble. If he shows it, what happens next? Accusing a veteran technician. Exposing falsified records. On a date as high profile, he could lose everything. The job. His shot at the mechanic program. His future. But if he doesn't, the runway winds with power. The jet is almost ready to taxi. Ground crews move with focus, waving signals. And Jace just stands there, frozen, clipboard in hand, mind racing, heart pounding. The same question spins louder now, louder than the engines. What if something does happen? What if those people, Dr. Odiambo, Mr. Meta, Miss Vexler herself, don't make it to Geneva? What if this was his one moment to matter, and he chose silence? His throat tightens. If I stay silent and something happens, I'll never forgive myself. The words echo in his head, in his chest, in every inch of his being. He looks down at the clipboard one last time, then up at the hangar, and he walks, not fast, not slow, just forward, toward the terminal, toward the risk, toward the truth. Because some moments don't come twice, and some silences cost more than words ever could. The jet begins to roll forward, its lights blinking across the misty tarmac. The final clearance echoes through Jace's ears like a countdown. This is it. Without fully thinking, he bolts, out from the hangar, across the concrete, past the fueling zone, tools flying from his belt, wind slamming into his chest. His heart pounds like a drumbeat in chaos. He waves both arms furiously, cutting to the fog of exhaust. Ground crew shout warnings. Sirens begin to wail. Then hands. Rough, hard, grabbing him from behind. Two security officers tackle him to the ground near the wing. His cheek scrapes the pavement. Voices shout above him, indistinct. Someone barks. Who authorizes, kid? Jace struggles to get a word in. I need to speak to her. Please. Stop the plane. From the steps of the jet, Charlotte Vexler turns. Her heels pause on the edge of the boarding stairs. Her eyes lock onto the scuffle below. For a second, her face is unreadable. She lifts her hand. The boarding halts. Her assistant leans in, whispering something. But Charlotte doesn't move. She watches, silent, calculating. Pinned to the ground, Jace gasps for air. His voice cracks under the weight of urgency and fear. The plane is not safe. I saw someone tamper with it. Please, please don't take off. The officers hesitate. Their grip loosens just enough. Charlotte begins her slow descent from the stairs. The jet engines cool. Curious murmurs ripple among her guests. Mr. Delroy walks up now, calm, annoyed. Ma'am! He's just a trainee janitor. Kid's confused. Maybe he misread something. Charlotte glances at Jace. His overalls are dirty. Grease stains across his hands. His face is streaked with tears and desperation. He doesn't look like someone with power. But he doesn't look like someone lying either. I'm not crazy. Jace says, louder now, choking on emotion. He tampered with the auxiliary fuel control. I checked the manuals. Then I found a fake log. The crowd goes still. Even the air feels suspended. Dr. Odiambo folds her arms, watching. Meta raises a curious brow. Jace, still on his knees, pulls the clipboard from his side. He holds the log up, shaking but steady. This says no one touched that part of the plane since last week. He says, but I saw him, last night, under the fuselage. Delroy steps forward, face tight. "Give that here," he snaps, reaching out. But Charlotte steps between them. "Let me see." Her voice cuts clean through the air like a blade. Delroy hesitates, then backs off. Jace hands her the clipboard. Charlotte scans the pages with the practiced speed of someone who's built a billion-dollar company off details. The assistant beside her leans in. "These signatures, they're duplicated. Call Roger from internal legal." Charlotte says, "And Ava from external audit. I want a full sweep of every log this man has signed in the past year." She doesn't raise her voice, but her command is final. Delroy stiffens. "You can't be serious. He's just, She lifts a hand. He stops. "No one boards this plane," she announces. "Not until I know exactly what happened." Gasps from the nearby crew. Her guests step away from the stairs. Jay stares up at her, not quite believing. He stood alone. He screamed the truth into a world too loud to hear him. But maybe, just maybe, she heard. Still, the moment hangs uncertain, because Charlotte hasn't said whether she believes him. Not yet. And nearby, Delroy clenches his fists, jaw tight, eyes calculating. The truth is out, but the consequences? They've only just begun. They take him away, quietly, not in cuffs, not like a criminal, but with that cold formality that makes a kid feel like one anyway. A small, windowless holding room. White walls. Stainless steel table. A pitcher of water he doesn't touch. The minutes stretch. Every second feels like judgment. 2 security officers sit across from him. One writes. The other watches. They ask the same things, circling like birds over fresh roadkill. "What exactly did you see? Why didn't you report immediately? Any beef with Mr. Delroy? Did you touch the aircraft yourself?" Jace's answers come low, careful, but steady. His heart thuds louder than his words. He knows that in rooms like this, boys like him can vanish into assumptions, into reports, into silence. Then the door opens, and everything stills. Charlotte Vexler walks in, alone. No guards, no assistants. Just her, and that sharp-eyed presence she wears like armor. The security men rise. She motions for them to leave. They do. She sits across from Jace, folds her hands neatly, and studies him for a long moment. The ticking clock on the wall is the only sound. 14. Emotional breakdown 52:00. 56:00. At first, Jay says nothing. He stares down at the table, eyes rimmed red, jaw clenched so hard it hurts. Then, finally, his voice breaks loose. "I didn't want to cause trouble." She listens. "I just wanted to fix planes. That's it." His voice cracks, and he blinks fast. "Since I was a kid, I'd sit in my window and watch them fly over the apartment roofs. I'd take apart fans just to see how they worked. I learned torque settings before I knew how to drive." He pauses, breathes hard. "But it doesn't matter what I know. People don't see me. They see a janitor. A kid, a black kid, maybe a liar, maybe a problem." Charlotte doesn't interrupt. Her expression doesn't shift, but her eyes stay locked on him. "My dad was a welder. He got arrested for something he didn't do. Spent a year fighting to prove it. Still lost his job. My mom, 3 jobs. I barely see her. She's always tired. But she believes in me. They both do." He looks up finally. Into her eyes. "I'm maybe invisible, but I see everything. And I saw what he did." Silence. Not awkward. Heavy. Then Charlotte nods slowly, as if something inside her, something mechanical and ancient, has just clicked into place. Outside that small room, her world is already moving. Investigators swarm the hangar. Mechanics recheck every log, every bolt, every line of code. Then it comes in confirmation from her trusted lead investigator. The auxiliary fuel system was rigged to malfunction mid-flight. Had the flight taken off, it would have stalled over the Atlantic. No signal, no landing, no second chances. Jace was right. And Mr. Delroy? Gone. Security footage shows him leaving the premises 20 minutes after the boarding was canceled. He took nothing. Left no message. Just vanished into the night. Charlotte reads the full report in silence, lips pressed in. Later that evening, she returns to the room. She doesn't smile. She doesn't soften. But she looks at Jace, truly looks at him, and says, "You saved lives today." He exhales, the tension still gripping his chest. It's not pride he feels. Not yet. It's relief. But somewhere in the back of his mind, that invisible kid finally begins to believe. Maybe he's not so invisible anymore. By morning, the story is everywhere. Teen janitor saves billionaire and international dignitaries from sabotage jet. 16-year-old trainee prevents catastrophic crash. Invisible hero. Young man's courage exposes dangerous plot. News trucks line the edge of the airfield. Cameras scan the tarmac where just hours before, a plane nearly took off to its death. Microphones get shoved in faces. Reporters yell over each other. The world suddenly wants to know, who is Jace Moreno? But Charlotte Vexler gives no interviews, no press conferences. Her company releases a single statement. Due to the bravery and integrity of one of our youngest team members, lives were spared. We stand by him. She shields Jace from the circus, calls off PR handlers who wanted to script his image. No stage photo ops. No interviews in suits too big for him. She tells her inner circle plainly, he's a mechanic in training, not a product. And yet, the world sees him now, truly sees him. No longer the boys sweeping up oil in the background. Just as the buzz begins to quiet, a deeper truth rips open. An internal audit, launched by Charlotte herself, reveals more than anyone expected. Delroy hadn't acted alone. Encrypted messages, payment trails, hidden repair logs across multiple hangars. It all pointed to something bigger. A coordinated effort funded by a rival aviation mogul trying to undermine Charlotte's reputation before the Geneva summit. The plane wasn't the only target. A pattern of quiet sabotage stretched back months. Small failures timed to build doubt in her brand. But this time, they miscalculated. They didn't plan on a boy with callous hands and sharp eyes, catching what their spreadsheets couldn't. Charlotte is furious, but focused. She calls it what it is. Treason, corporate espionage, attempted murder. She vows to clean house from the top down. And she keeps her word. Executives are removed. Internal systems overhauled. Security tightened. And when she's asked privately why she's going such lengths, she answers simply, because a teenager noticed what a room full of adults missed. I owe him, and I won't let him down. 1 week later, Jay stands outside the Atlanta Institute of Aeronautical Engineering. In his hand, a full-ride scholarship offer, tuition, housing, tools, mentorship. No loans, no fine print, just a signature and a future rewritten. Charlotte personally sponsors it, not just out of gratitude, but belief, quiet, unshakable belief. And that's not all. At her headquarters, a new internship program is launched. Jace is the first name on the roster, not honorary, not symbolic. Real hours, real work, real flight systems under his fingers. When he walks into the hangar now, people look up, they greet him, they ask his opinion. He still wears the same old boots, still keeps his head low when he concentrates. But now, people listen when he speaks. And for the first time, Jace doesn't feel like he's on the outside looking in. He's in the room. He earned it. He saved lives, told the truth, stood alone and didn't back down. And the world? It finally made room for someone like him. Weeks later, before sunrise once again, the same hangar breathes with quiet light. But now, Jace walks through its doors not as a ghost in overalls, but in crisp uniform blues, his ID badge clipped proudly to his chest. It bears his name in bold letters, Jace Moreno, engineering intern. He moves through the rows of aircraft with a quiet steadiness, not seeking attention, but no longer shrinking from it either. Where once eyes slid past him, now they meet us with a nod, some subtle, some warm. The old crew members, men who once grumbled past him or barely noticed his presence, give him space and respect. He opens a maintenance panel on a smaller test aircraft. A fuel sensor isn't reading right. He kneels, tools in hand. No one hovers. No one second guesses. He diagnoses, adjusts, rewires. Efficient, smooth. His fingers no longer hesitate. There's a confidence in his rhythm now, a calm certainty. He stands, wipes his hands, and logs a fix into the system. For the first time, this hangar doesn't feel like borrowed ground. It feels like his own. Outside the hangar, Charlotte Vexler readies her jet, once again bound for Geneva. But this time, things are different. Her eyes scan the tarmac until she sees him. Jace approaches with steady steps, holding something in his palm. She smiles and wraps him in a brief but genuine hug. It's not for the cameras. There are none. You remind me why I started all this, she says softly. Sometimes it takes the smallest voice to stop the biggest fall. He says little, just presses a folded note into her hand. She reads it silently. Fly safe. The skies listen more than people do. Jace. Charlotte smiles, then boards her jet. Jace watches the engines roar to life. This time he's not afraid. He knows what he's doing, and he trusts himself. The world moves forward, and so does Jace. Quick flashes build a quiet legacy. Jace in a classroom, surrounded by blueprints and equations, sleeves rolled up deep in design. A worn but framed newspaper clipping on his bedroom wall. Youngest licensed aircraft mechanic in U.S. history. A scholarship certificate, signed by Charlotte herself. Footage of Jace on a podium at a youth aviation conference, speaking to students about truth, courage, and precision. A hangar plaque unveiled in his honor, in recognition of integrity that soar higher than fear. Then Jace in his mid-20s, walking through a clean room at a top aerospace engineering firm. On the screen behind him, a 3D prototype of a safer, smarter auxiliary fuel system. His name flashes in the patent credits. One final image. Jace on a quiet rooftop at night, looking up at the stars. He closes his eyes, takes a breath, and for the first time, the sky doesn't feel so far away. It feels like home. The sun sinks low over the horizon, painting the runway in deep gold and soft amber. Planes in the distance ascend into the evening sky, their silhouettes cutting through the last light of day. Jay stands still at the edge of the tarmac, hands in his pockets, the wind brushing gently against his uniform. He doesn't move. He watches the aircraft climb, each one a reminder how far he's come and how far he'll go. There's no crowd around him, no fanfare, just him, the runway, and the fading sun. They told me to stay quiet, that no one would believe me, that I was too young, too small, too invisible. But I saw something, and I chose to speak. It saved more than one life that day. It saved mine too, because for the first time, I wasn't just watching the world fly by. I found my wings. The camera slowly pulls back as Jace turns and walks toward the hangar, his step steady, his future open. The screen fades to black. The hum of a jet engine echoes faintly.